Thanks, everybody. Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Ricky Camelier. Our next guest is a morning mainstay for millions of households across the country. Robin Roberts has co-anchored Good Morning America for 13 years and counting, and now she has a new series called Thriver Thursday, where she profiles extraordinary individuals who inspire others. Let's take a look.
What do you say to somebody who says, I don't have the strength, I don't have the courage to thrive. I'm barely surviving. And I look at you, Winnie, you are thriving.
I am scared of everything. Everything. I hate flight, love scares me, like all these things are terrifying to me. But I never let my fears stop me from going for what I need to go for, what I want to go for. I just always go for it.
Boom! On that one!
Everybody, please welcome the great Robin Roberts. Hi! Hello!
Hello, everybody.
Robin Roberts, thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here, Ricky. Thank you.
Tell me about Thriver Thursday. You are not just hosting this, you are producing this as well, right? This is coming from your production company.
Rock and Robin Productions.
Yeah.
Yes, we launched last week. It's a new digital series. Very excited about it. That was Winnie Harlow. She is the first model with vitiligo, which is an autoimmune condition that affects the skin, as we saw. The first one of a model like that to walk in the Victoria's Secret fashion show. She has not let anything stop her, and it was wonderful when I was talking to her and I was saying, oh, you're a thriver, and she's kind of looking at me like, what, I'm just living my life. And that's the beauty of it. And so we're profiling all these incredible people from all different walks of life and who have had these challenges, these things that were placed in their path that other people might look at being an obstacle. And these people, they just climb on top of it and they use it as a mountaintop to get to an even higher place than they were before. And more importantly, to share their lessons with others so it can help us in our journeys.
How did you find Winnie, and how are you finding some of your guests that you're having on?
I just telepathy. I just, through my mind, I'm able to
Thriver
Thursday. Just say, chant it with me. Come on, Ricky. Thriver Thursday. Thriver Thursday. No, I have a great team. Teamwork makes a dream work. There are two young people on my staff who were receiving a lot of information. A lot of people, I'm very flattered that people look to me and they say, I've been through cancer twice. I've gone through some really challenging things like everybody has. And for some reason, people look to me and they're inspired by me. And so they were sending in their stories. And so Gabe and Jade, they were like, hey, there's something here. Why don't we profile these people? Why don't we share their stories? I think they were saying, stop talking about yourself, Robin, and let's talk about some other people. But it's a wonderful way to really show that we're all different. And as Winnie said, we're all different, and that makes us the same. You get that? We're all different, but it makes us the same.
Did you find that when you were going through your battles with cancer, that you were looking for ways to thrive yourself or ways to get over that hump? Or did you find that you just had to live and you just had to keep moving and it was instinctual?
A little bit of both. I remember when people would say to me after going through something, this first time breast cancer in 2007, they said, you're a survivor. And I'm like, that's nice, survivor. And I get that. And then I'm like, who wants to just survive? Yeah. Who wants any of us? Whatever we've gone through, everybody's got something. And I was like, no, I want to thrive. And the second time in 2012, when I had a more serious condition, I had to have a bone marrow transplant. And I was told I had like a year or two to live. And I'd already gone through some really horrific treatment before. And I asked my doctor, I said, I'm not doing this again unless I can get my life back. And he said, I'll give you your life back. And that's what thriving is about. I just don't want to get back to where I was. I want to even go beyond that. And that's what these people that we're profiling, and that's what I found within myself. And we're all a little bit stronger than we think we are. So it was just a combination of when you're thrown into this and you're just trying to figure out the best way you can. But also, I don't think I'm a former athlete. I'm an athlete. Ricky, can I stand up?
Sure, yeah.
I like to say 5'10", actually 5'9" and worth the climb. That was my line, 5'9" and worth the climb. But I played basketball and tennis in college and in high school and college, and it really taught me those skills that when life throws you these really horrific curveballs, that I'm able to draw on that athletic background of mine. And my athleticism didn't prevent me from getting ill, but boy, it sure helped me in beating it and having that survivor-thriver mentality.
Well, there's also something in the body of athletes and people who've done
Well, thank
athletics
you.
for a
Thank
long
you.
time.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're trying to say?
That is
Yeah,
exactly what I'm
thank
trying.
you.
You look great, Robin, is what
Oh,
I'm trying to say.
well.
You look amazing.
No, come on, no.
God, I slipped into that so easily. Were you giving me clues to do that? I don't know. Where I feel like, you get down, you can't work out, you can't move. Everything starts to change, and you start to think, if I can just move my body a little bit, I can start moving my mind, and I can start to do this. There's something about growing up with athletics around you, or when you start getting into working out a lot, that you realize change the body just a little bit, maybe you can change the mind as well.
You got to change the way you think in order to change the way you feel. Yeah. And I really feel that through playing sports and just that mentality, and I'm an optimistic person, and I say this over and over again, and I say it over and over again because repetition is the mother of skill. Optimism is like a muscle that gets stronger with use. Just think about it. Any other thing that you do and you use as a muscle to get stronger. That's what optimism is. You got to get in the habit of being in an optimistic mood. And when you do that, and when a challenging time comes along, you're in the habit of looking for that silver lining. So I just really am really grateful that I've always been that kind of person that I just got to try and find that silver lining. And with Thriver Thursday, we're finding so many people all across the country. Jade and Gabe and the entire Thriver Thursday crew have been all over the country and finding these incredible people who have gone through domestic violence and who have been, the gentleman who was pledging at a fraternity got hit in the back of the head with a frying pan, was temporarily paralyzed, permanently blinded. He's risen above that, and now he's working for the government and helping people with disabilities find work. So it's these people who, again, that are just absolutely thriving in all kinds of conditions.
Now, you've been co-anchoring GMA for 13 years now, right?
Yes, I have, Sonny. I've been doing it a long time. Yes, me and George Stephanopoulos and Michael Strahan.
You took it to number one, though, right?
Yes.
You guys took it to number one. And I'm curious if your time with cancer, battling cancer, changed the way you interview people. If you found that there was a certain amount of empathy or something different happened in you when you started clicking with people during interviews.
Very good question. Don't you love when someone says that to you? Meaning all the other ones were not, but that one was. No, all of them.
I can never let it go either. I think most better interviews would just be like, thank you, and I'm always like, thank you, it's my job.
That's what I do, and you do it very well. I would like to think that I always was that type of person, but I have to tell you, going through what I have has, it's heightened what I think was there all to begin with. It has just brought out that side of me that wasn't really to the forefront. And I am more empathetic when it comes to that. Also because my hometown of Pasquotank, Mississippi was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. So when I see the wildfires in California right now and the hurricanes that we had last year, I'm much more empathetic because having gone through it. So it's a combination of the two things, having experienced it myself and then sitting down across from somebody and just can look at them, because people want to feel like, you get me. And I really feel that I do for various reasons.
Do you feel that a lot in these Thriver Thursday interviews as well?
Oh my goodness, I certainly do. I mean, I'm sitting across from a lot of these people, and Winnie was a perfect example. And you just, especially those who've walked that path of cancer, it's like we just look at each other and it's almost like we do the nod. We absolutely know what it's like to be in the throes of treatment and losing your hair and just a myriad of things that you go through, that it's hard for our loved ones who really, they're there for us and they want to feel our pain, but they really don't. And so those of us who've considered ourselves thrivers, we have this little band together. And that's why we want to share our message, because we feel like there's a thriver in all of us.
Do you feel like that's also especially important message to share right now, and that while it may not be a disability, while it may not be an illness, all of us are in some ways looking for ways to thrive, because it feels like we're kind of inundated with a certain amount of pessimism and negativity on a daily basis?
That's an honest question, yeah. I think that and you don't have to go through an illness or something catastrophic to feel like you need something to thrive, to to get back on track, so to speak. And it is a time, and I'm not going to shy away from it. Yeah, it's difficult for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And the climate in this country, be it the racial tension or political tension or this, that, and the other. And so, yeah, this is something that really helps people be able, success leaves clues. And so when people have gone through different things and have risen above, whatever your particular situation is, whatever it is that you're feeling kind of like, I think that there are things that you're going to learn from these thrivers that are going to help you in your situation. Absolutely.
News is always seen is supposed to be objective. That is standard journalism practice, right? And I think more so than any other news programs right now, we get a kind of objective news from the morning news programs because they are really meant for all to enjoy.
Exactly.
Whether it's hard news or whether it's a cooking demo or something, it's for everybody in the world to really enjoy. But do you find it harder, I wonder, or do you or any of your co-anchors find it harder to maintain that objectivity to not have an opinion at times?
I have no problem with that whatsoever. I mean this sincerely. There was just a poll that was taken by The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm very proud that I was listed as one of the most trusted on television, and that means a lot to me. And in this demographic, I was #1 as the most trusted with younger viewers. And I think the reason why is because I trust you. I trust that I'm going to give you the information. Hey, how you doing? I'm going to give you, hey, shout out. I'm going to give the viewer the information. I'll let them make up their own minds. I'll make sure that they get the accurate information, not alternative facts, but the true facts. And then whatever you decide to do with those facts, more power to you. I can't do anything about that. So I don't, and I can speak for George and Michael and all of the ABC News. We talk about this, that no, our job is to deliver the news. David Muir as well, he was up top also as being one of the most trusted. And I'm very proud of that. And I think that it's something that we need and we crave, and we can't always, things that we're just being bombarded with a lot of misinformation. And I'm so proud that ABC News, we give you the correct information to make the decisions for yourself.
And I think at the same time that audiences or citizens are being bombarded with information and misinformation, journalists themselves are being bombarded with a kind of a enemy of the people phrase. Journalists are being bombarded a bit by trying to make them the story rather than allowing them to present the news as the story.
That's really sad. I mean, that really, I'm very proud of I'm just going to say this. I'm very, very proud of my profession. I truly am. I studied very hard. I have a degree in communications. I worked in local television in 2 places in Mississippi, in Nashville, Tennessee, and Atlanta, Georgia. Worked for this little network called ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports journalism. And I know my father was in the military, and I know that the public needs, there's this great country that we live in, and part of it is having a free press. And we're going to stand by that, and we're going to continue to be objective and to give the American public what they deserve, and that is the facts and that's the information, and they can make the choice for themselves from there on out.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to rephrase it, because I think I misled that question a little bit. Does it seem harder for you and the folks that you work with to sort of maintain that place of not making you guys the center of the news as well? Do you ever worry about that trap, or do you ever see anybody trying to pull you into that trap?
I don't really think about that. I don't try. It's hard for me to say not to become the story, because I made myself the story with my cancer, because it was a teachable lesson in how, in fact, we won a Peabody Award when I went through cancer a second time, and our network showed how you do a job share and how somebody living with cancer, how that works. So we use that as a teachable moment. So I did become the story, so I don't want to be a hypocrite and say not. But
it's slightly different.
But no, it's not. But it is and it's not. So I don't want. It's a shame that it is something that has been the topic lately, and I think the American public, I can't speak for the public, but I feel that they're just like, they trust us. It's been shown that they trust us more than they don't, that they don't believe everything that other people may say about us. And again, I'm just very, very extremely proud of my profession, and in particular, ABC News and the Disney family.
What has been your toughest interview over the years?
Right now, right here. This
here?
has been. I mean, wow.
That's what
yeah.
they all
No, I'm
say.
just kidding. No.
They all say that.
Hey,
They
are
will-
you knitting? Are we boring you, or what are you doing? I mean, like you got crocheting. That is really did you crochet what you're wearing right now? That is so cool. I know what I'm going to get for Christmas if I get a gift from you. Yeah, I know. Pardon? I love this. But actually, my tougher interviews are political ones. Those are tough because you really have to get it right. You have to get every interview right. But when it comes to politics and something so important, but the one that comes to mind are the ones that have to sit down in front of policymakers and politicians, and those always tend to be the toughest ones.
Because you really have to, I mean, in the political interviews that I've done, the hardest part is like, I mean, I have a very clear opinion, I know about politics, but I have a hard time memorizing the names of policies and very specific things.
Really?
That's always the thing that trips me up, because I don't want to be in front of a policymaker and be like, you know, the legislation of
The credibility is shot.
The credibility is shot, and in front of them.
What
too,
was the
'cause they're
toughest
like,
one for
I
you
got ya.
when you said that?
The toughest interview that I've ever
Yeah,
done?
when you said political tip or toughest interview.
I don't know. You know, I interviewed Martha, the lawyer in the O.J. Simpson case, Martha, the prosecutor, Marcia Clark. I've interviewed her a couple times. She's wonderful. And the defense lawyer, one of the defense lawyers as well. And that was really tough just because I wanted to make sure that they were comfortable together because they were on stage together and I didn't want to pit them against each other. But at the same time,
That was
I had a
cool to
very clear opinion about that case and about some of the defenses that were brought up and about certain things that were done. And I wanted to try to, I mean, I don't worry about being objective personally, but at the same time, I didn't want to be too unobjective.
So I guess you had an opinion on that case.
I don't mind having an opinion, Robert.
Okay,
I don't
no,
mind.
I love that about you, Ricky. See, you're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I try to hold it back just a little bit.
No, he doesn't.
No, I don't.
No, not at all. That's what we love about. That's what we love about you. That's
We have some time for some questions from the audience. Who has
Cool.
a question? Hey.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good.
I saw you outside.
Yes. I wanted to say, first of all, I thank you for your integrity and your wisdom. I've been following you for a long time. And I wanted to ask you, with the Thursday Thrivers, of the cast that you have so far, what have you taken away overall from meeting each of them and each of their individual stories?
Oh, that's such a great story. I've learned that we have more in common than not. I've learned that that every story is different, which makes us the same in what we're trying to overcome. That we're looking at it as, and this is something that we all could learn from. We all set these goals for ourselves. We all have this the next thing we want to do, and it seems so insurmountable. So I'm like, this is never going to happen. And you don't take time to remember the mountain you just climbed to get to the mountain where you are now. We're so focused on that next one that we don't look back and see all of these beautiful mountains we have scaled. And that's what I've learned through these thrivers and their stories. And we're looking forward. We're totally looking forward. We're grateful for those mountains that we climb behind us, but we have more that we want to scale. And more importantly, we want to bring more people with us on those mountaintops. Thank you.
I think, if you want to clap, you can do that, yeah.
Thank you.
Check out our Instagram. I think we have time for one more question.
Hi. So this is an online question. Alex wants to know, what overall message do you hope that people gain from the Thriver Thursday series?
Alex, overall, what I want that people to realize that is something that is within all of us. I don't sometimes, and other than Winnie Harlow, who some people knew because she's a supermodel, these are people that you don't know. A young boy paralyzed in my home state of Mississippi, a woman who's gone through domestic violence. And what's very important is that I wanted to show just everyday you and I people that are going through these circumstances in life, and they're learning so much from it. And I think that's the overall message that people, in fact, when people will come up to me, Ricky, and I always get so, I love it, and I'm so grateful when someone says, "Oh, Robin, you inspire me. Oh my gosh, you're my strength." And I just want to hold up a mirror and say, look at yourself. You know, I'm a reflection of you. And that's what these stories are. They're going to be a reflection on everybody who views them. We have thriverthursday.com where you can find them, on my Facebook as well. and you're going to see a little bit of yourself in all these stories.
You know, you co-anchor Good Morning America every day for 13 years. Plus, you were, you know, you're on ESPN before that. You said you were
I'm a mogul.
local.
Yes, I'm an entertainment mogul.
Entertainment mogul.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I'm curious. You know, this idea of thriving and this idea of never taking something for granted and being able to look behind you at the mountains that you scaled. Have you ever found yourself in a position where you had to look at yourself and be like, oh, you're taking things for granted, or you're not looking at the mountains that you've scaled? Like, take a second, take it in.
We all have. I would be lying. Yo, sure. Especially when I was younger. Now where I am and having gone through my health issues, my father are both deceased, and I thought I would just never be able to walk around Earth without them guiding me as they always did. And they have instilled this great strength in me. And I really feel that, I don't know, I'm so grateful that I have surpassed what I have. And I have always been, Ricky, I've always been grateful, never content. Very, very grateful, never content. And that's not braggadocious, that's not cocky, that just means, why wouldn't you, all of us, want to absolutely get every ounce that we can out of being here and being able to do all the things that we want to do and contribute and help and all that. So I will say there was times when I was younger that I felt that way, that I didn't take time to really appreciate what I had done, but now I am, and more importantly, I just want to share the stories of others. I really, really feel that we have so many beautiful stories. Even Michelle Obama, who I recently interviewed, and she just said that our stories are what unite us. Our stories are what bring us together. It's when we see our stories side by side that we go like, oh my gosh, yeah, there's a lot here that, yeah, you're just like me. And we can just get through some of this tension that we're feeling right now, which is real. And I'm not saying that just one little story is going to make everything go away, but I just feel that there's something there that everybody's going to take away, that there's going to feel a little bit better about themselves and about where we are.
Do you still get nervous when you interview Michelle Obama?
You know what? I don't anymore. It was really funny. I've known her for many, many years, and I knew her before her husband became president, when he was a state senator.
Who?
She said that too, Barack. But it was great to interview her recently because, as I said, for 8 years I was interviewing Michelle Obama, Mrs. Obama, the First Lady. When I interviewed her recently in Chicago, it was Michelle. It was Michelle again. And she even confided how after those 8 years, and she got in the helicopter, and she just really, she was sobbing. I mean, for 8 years, they had to be perfect, and they were for the most. There were no missteps, there were no scandals, there was nothing. And for 8 years, being the first African-American family in the White House, and to have all that pressure on them. And so it was great to see her and had a great time. And you could tell that she is relaxed again, and she's out on her book tour. And the response that she's getting from the book Becoming really shows you that people, as you were alluding to earlier, are really hungry for goodness and to remember that time when things weren't as tense as they are right now.
Well, I think when people think of Michelle Obama, for the most part, they think of goodness and they think of a really stand-up, wonderful person. You said that she's sort of making a name for herself outside of her president. You think she's going to run?
Oh, no.
You think she's going to run, Robin?
No. I did kind of slide. She made that perfectly clear in the book, and even when I was talking to her, she made that abundantly clear.
Always make it clear.
I know they do that, but I would be surprised because that was she went through it. I mean, she was a lightning rod for 8 years, and you could tell that that really affected her. And you know what she said, and it's so true, and it's for all of us too. We don't have to be in politics to be of service. There are so many different ways that we can be of service to others, and I think that's what she is really trying to do now and wants to do. Continue to be of service, but in a different way.
Well, Robin, how can people see Thriver Thursday?
They can see Thriver Thursday. Well, thank you, Ricky. They can see Thriver Thursday at thriverthursday.com. Thriverthursday.com. Facebook, my Facebook page as well. We are going to roll out, we started last Thursday. This Thursday, which is Thanksgiving, the day before my birthday. Just throw that in there.
Happy birthday!
Sagittarius, baby, yeah.
Thanksgiving/birthday.
Thank you. I know.
Birthsgiving.
I was born on Thanksgiving, and my parents said I was a blessing. My siblings said I was a turkey, so it all worked out. But I've used that line for over 50 years. But also on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, a wonderful correspondent that I work with, Rachel Scott, is going to give you a behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to put Thriver Thursday on, and then the following Thursday we'll be having different. We'll be premiering new episodes every Thursday.
Amazing. I can't wait.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody give a big round of applause for Robin Roberts.
Thank you very much.
Who's squinting intensely at me right now.